It's the Inspired by Joanne show.
Meet your host, certified confidence coach Joanne Dean, inspiring women on the rise. Welcome to another Faith Chat.
Hello, Faith listeners. Welcome back to the Inspired by Joanne show. Today's Faith Walker is LaSonja Higgins. Originally from New Orleans, Louisiana, LaSonja has diverse experience in education. She has been an educator for 20 years in several capacities: deaf and hearing impaired teacher, general education teacher, special education teacher, instructional coach, mentor, and assistant principal. Her preparation began at Southern University and A&M College in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. She obtained her master's degree in curriculum and instruction from University of New Orleans. Currently, she has completed her second master's degree in social work from Our Lady of the Lake University. She hopes to merge her knowledge in both education and social work to empower her community holistically. A woman of faith, she is committed to glorifying God in all that she does. Let's welcome my cousin, LaSonja Higgins.
Thanks for having me. Thank you for being here. And full disclosure, she is family. And I am super duper proud of her and all that she has accomplished thus far on her journey. I'd like to start off the way I always do. What fuels your faith?
The training up that I received from my mother. And so bringing me to church, keeping me in church, keeping me active, teaching me godly principles and morals are all the reasons why I chose to stay on that path as an adult. As the scripture says, train up a child as you should go, and when you grow old, you shouldn't depart from it. And so as I matured, I developed my own relationship with Christ, and I instilled those morals in my kids.
So talk a little bit about why it's so important for you to continue to reach new heights.
Well, I will always want to strive to learn, to continue to learn. What I want to do in my community requires a good bit of training, and to keep from having to pay people to do what I know that I can do. I get the credentials that would allow me to do that, so that I won't be stifled either from monetary reasons or for credential reasoning. So I continue to explore options at the higher education level, as well as certificates and trainings that I can participate in.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you want to do in your community?
Sure. So I want to open this facility that pretty much serves from birth to death. So from parenting classes and mom's day out all the way to hospice. And in between would be a homeschool where foster children in the middle grades have first preference with their siblings.
Wow. So what has inspired you to serve others the way you do, and how does that serve you?
Oh, so I think for me, it's an innate gift that God has given me. And so I don't have like this one particular reason why I enjoy serving others. But even when I'm at my worst, serving others helps me feel better and to pull up from that, that dark place that sometimes we go to at different times in our life. Um, Serving others is like medicine for me. Like I can't not serve people, and it hurts me when I can't meet that person's needs. And so just in looking at the example of Christ and how he served others just helps me understand that I'm doing the work that he has called us to do. And through that, whether I am directly talking about Christ or not, someone always asks, why do you do what you do? And it gives me an opportunity to share my beliefs and to share the awesome things that God has done in my life.
Mm-hmm. What has inspired your career choice?
So I never wanted to be a teacher. I actually wanted to be a pediatrician, an obstetrician, and a gynecologist. And according to my mom, I wanted to bag groceries at Schwagman's, which anyone from New Orleans knows that was a local grocery store. And so when I stepped on foot a campus, Southern University in Baton Rouge, I felt a pull to the education building. So I've been in education for about 20 years now. I'm currently an assistant principal at an elementary school in Griffin, Georgia. But I've been a teacher, instructional coach, dean of academics, done a little discipline as well. And I've just completed my master's of social work degree this semester.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Woo-hoo. So talk a little bit about how this new position as a system principal has impacted your life.
Oh, wow. So in Georgia, it's made a bigger impact than it had in Louisiana. So I actually started my assistant principalship in Louisiana, and upon leaving, I had to go back into the classroom and then just kind of work my way into leadership again. And so what it's done here is change the culture of a building. My presence alone has changed the culture of a building, and I didn't understand the magnitude of that until I saw it unfold. So you kind of take for granted when you're at home how people accept you because you're home and it's comfortable. Everyone looks like everyone else, because I worked in the inner city schools in New Orleans. And so all of the students looked like me. All of their parents looked like me. So it was a comfort there. Well, I am the first Black administrator at the school here in Georgia. And that was a huge challenge because they had never seen anyone of my color in position, much less with locks, much less with this New Orleans accent. And so it was a bit of a challenge at first, but just working to the glory of God and making sure that I'm serving others is the first goal. It just worked out and it fell into place. There are some challenges, but the good definitely outweighs those challenges. And I just look forward to striving every day to be the best leader that I can be by serving.
Once again, congratulations on all that you have accomplished. And I can't imagine where your journey is going to continue to take you. Talk a little bit about challenges that you faced and how you just was able to push through those.
Well, the main challenge was racism. I was not accepted readily by the parents. The staff was a little bit leery, but because of my position, they weren't as vocal as some of the parents were. And so I've gotten called everything from color to words I would prefer not to repeat. And I just kind of stood my ground on this is the policy or procedure with a smile, with kindness. I tried to be mindful of my tone because it did hurt. It did hurt me personally, but I had to remember that it wasn't a personal attack on me per se. It was something about them that couldn't take who I am. And I always keep that in mind when somebody addresses me in a negative or mean manner. As far as the teachers, I just continue to be consistent in my service to them. I always address them as how can I serve you? What can I do to make your day better? The kids were easy. I mean, once they realized that I wasn't scary, I was just tall, that they embraced me. So they give the best hugs, unconditional love. And the more that they loved on me, and the more that I showed them who I was, the more they spoke up for me. So I can, I had parents come in and say, I want to meet that lady my child's always talking about. One thing I instituted in the school was picking a homeroom to choose my nail color. That was one of the ways I wanted to infuse myself into the culture. And so the parents will come and say, can I see your nails? Because my child got to pick your color this month. And they're super excited. We want to know who you are. Even coloring my hair purple for raising money for leukemia because they met a goal. They were very shocked that I kept my word. And so that showed me in itself that that's missing. And I was brought up that way. If you say you're going to do something, do it. But these kids heard me, but they were like, she's not going to do it, right? And so making sure that I adhere to those godly principles and the morals that I was taught has helped me navigate the school year. I mean, with such grace and such class. And I'm going to be honest, I kind of shocked myself because, I know where God has brought me from. And so when I'm presented with that colored woman, emotions and triggers will flare up, but God was always there with a sense of peace, like, I got you. Let me do it for you. You just continue to be kind, turn that other cheek, continue to show the love of Christ, and it's going to work out. And it has worked out. Not perfectly, but it's worked out. Currently just having some challenges with some staff members that want to be defiant. And I just continue to be professional and continue to provide that support and then use the proper channels of redirection. And so unfortunately, sometimes you have to do that. And I don't want to do it, but that's what keeps peace and order. So, yeah.
I hear your confidence. I hear the positive attitude. I hear your strong faith. And my next question, I probably just answered it, but what keeps you going?
So in my current job is the children. Knowing that what I do with adults or with them impacts their life. That definitely keeps me going. My kids keep me going. I want to show them this is, like Michelle Obama will say, when they go low, you go high. We're going to always stay high. So I want you to know that even when you're feeling down, this is how you stay high, even in that moment. My drive to serve God. And so, like one of my favorite scriptures from 1 Corinthians chapter 10 is about whatever you do, whether you're eating or drinking, do it to the glory of God. And so that is what I focus on when I don't feel like doing something, when it starts to get challenging to where I'm like, I'm gonna give up, I'm tired of this. I have to remember this is not for them. This is for the glory of God. So if I'm bringing glory to God, I'm going to have the favor of man. And so when I keep that focus, it helps me continue to go on even when it's challenging, even when it seems insurmountable and unbearable. It's like, okay, am I glorifying God to this? Then it needs to go away, or keep doing it, right? Is this about me or is this about God? So that's what keeps me going.
Oh, incredible. So I know you mentioned that you just finished another degree. You are the assistant principal, and then as well, you have your own family. How do you find the harmony in all of that?
To be honest, I don't even think I'm doing a good job at that. But I think the best step is knowing that I'm not doing a good job and figuring out ways to make that harmony happen. And so I really believe that COVID-19 for me needed to happen, because I needed to stop and slow down, because I was not spending the time with my family, with my kids that I wanted to, because I was going, with the internship and working full time. I barely saw my kids some days out of the week. And so the one thing I did do was proactively have a conversation with my family and say, this is what's getting ready to happen. And I need your grace. I need your patience. And I need your cooperation. And so each time my kids would be like, but mom, and I say, remember, how many more weeks do I have? So just making sure that I communicated on a regular basis what was going on, what my needs were, as far as giving my time for the computer, for working. But I also deliberately put time in place to spend with them, even if it was just for an hour. It's like, this is their hour, no phone, no computer, no emails. This is their hour of time. I would work later at night in order to give them Saturday as many hours as they could have. So it took a lot of sacrifice on my part from as far as sleeping. But I'm trying to show them that sometimes the sacrifice is worth it, because in the end, we're all going to benefit. Sometimes when you get another degree, it's more money. Unfortunately for me, this is my second master, so I'm not going to make any more money, but I'm going to be making a greater difference. And so in marrying social work with education, especially in leadership as an assistant principal, I feel like it would benefit kids even more. And so even through my training, it's benefited my children in a way that I parent. So the harmony is not all there, but I know what to do to get it there. And now that I'm finishing school, my kids know, hey, one more week and we have mommy, and I'm going to stick to that. And so that's where the harmony comes in. We spend time doing Bible study just for 10 minutes every day, but those 10 minutes are sacred. And we do a family Bible study together where we really focus on the kids understanding it more than adults, but we really focus on the kids, but that's our family time. And eating together is important. I get to take my kids to school, so that I spend every quality time that I get, I take advantage of it to try to make some harmony. But the harmony is going to come as soon as I'm done. I look forward to it. Yeah.
Oh, so many nuggets you just dropped. Oh my goodness. Talk a little bit about how important routine is.
Oh, yes, it's definitely important. If you don't have a routine, you're going to fail. If you don't have a plan, you're planning to fail. And that's what I share with my teachers as well, in reference to like lesson planning and having a plan for the plan. If there is not a routine, I'm telling you, my kids, they will mess over me. Well, mommy, can I watch TV? Did you do this first? And so even right now with us being home, school is officially over for my kids, but now they're in Hagen's boot camp. And so for the first hour of every day, once you wake up and you say your prayers and you eat breakfast, you got to do some math and ELA. Right? So you have to read, you might have to write for me that day. My youngest is working on handwriting in addition to math, and they're working on the next grade level. So instilling in them the importance of continuous learning. even if we're off from school, we're still continuing to learn, and they see me reading. So even in the midst of working, I have books that I've ordered that I'm reading for my own development and for my own pleasure. And so keeping up with that routine, when school starts again, they won't be as far off. And so, with this pandemic, we have school that's ended in March, as early as March for some students. And so from March until August or September, they would have not had structure. Well, they have the benefit of having a mom who's an educator, so I provided that structure for them. A little bit less just because of what was going on, and it's kind of heavy for everyone, but they have enough structure and routines that are in place where they're not going to have a culture shock when they return to the building.
It's amazing. Tell us what encouragement you would offer parents as they go through this sheltering in.
Do what you can, and don't beat yourself up. So we are not perfect. There is no parenting manual. There are a lot of parenting books out there, but there's not a manual that says this is right, this is right. I mean, the Bible definitely is a guide, but when you talk about some of the practical things like homeschooling your child at this time, do what you can. So I've had a church member reach out to me and say, what can I do? And so reach out to someone that knows a little bit more so that they can help kind of guide what you do, and don't overdo it. This is a time, even if it was a traditional year, that the children needed to reset. So don't compact their day with a whole bunch of stuff. Keep it to 1 or 2 hours at the most, and then let them get outside. Please let them get outside and get some vitamin D, and get their bodies moving, because that's important to their brain function as well. In my classroom, I used to say, if your bum is numb, so is your brain. So I would make my kids get up and move around so that those endorphins can continue to move, so it's like, you don't like to sit doing a professional development for hours. So I ask my teachers not to do that to students. Also, give yourself grace as a mom or as a dad. Give yourself grace and know that it's okay if you mess up, because the kids are going to forgive you before you forgive yourself. And also, my last word of encouragement would be focus on their social emotional learning. Listen to what your child is saying about how they're feeling. Listen to what they're saying, especially about this pandemic, because I learned just by listening to my kids that they've created some things in their mind that's not necessarily true. And I'm like, where did you get that from? You're with me all day. What were you hearing that I missed? And so let's have a conversation about that. And so focusing on that and knowing that some days you can't do that boot camp with them for the summer. Some days you got to kind of time it out, and let's go take a walk around the block, or let's go do this. Let's do something silly. Let's paint, let's color, because their social emotional intelligence is way more important to me than their academic intelligence. Because when they get to school and they're messed up, what can I do? Because our goal is to focus on academics, even though we do focus on their social emotional learning. It's not as much as I would like, because the school setting is not really set up that way. And so that would be the main thing I would tell a parent to focus on, is making sure your child is okay emotionally and socially.
Is there anything else you would like to share with the listeners?
First of all, thank you so much for letting me share, because I'm so passionate about what I do. I would share with the listeners to continue to reach for new heights, no matter what it is. If it's starting a garden, if it's reading one book a month, if it's drinking more water in a day, continue to reach your new heights, because that one step that you take will lead to another step, that will lead to another step, that will put you in a situation where you wouldn't realize that you've accomplished something brand new that's going to impact others. And so never doubt your impact, and never stop reaching for new heights.
And so my last question is, what's your favorite scripture?
Well, the one that I shared earlier, 1 Corinthians 10:31, to everything, whether you're eating or drinking, to the glory of God, and you can't go wrong. And so that is the scripture that I focus on. I mean, there are many other scriptures that I love, but that one sums up my life for me. Like, if you focus on bringing God glory, you can't go wrong. That means loving your neighbors. That means honoring your husband. That means honoring your parents. That means whatever you do in your life, it needs to glorify God.
Thank you. And lastly, how can our listeners connect with you and support you?
I am on Twitter at Mrs. Hagins L. I'm on Instagram as Sandra. And my school is Beaverbrook Elementary School in Griffin, Georgia. We're also on Twitter. And so you can always donate to the school. We're definitely in need of supplies all the time. We have very high poverty, high trauma population. So any resources are welcome. And prayer, just pray for our kids and our teachers as we continue to try to educate who's going to be running the world in a few years.
LaSonja, thank you so much. This was awesome. I
had fun.
Yes, me too. Thank you so much. And until next time, continue to walk by faith. Take care.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell for new content. Leave a comment or simply introduce yourself. Take care.